Greetings, humans. So today we have this. This is the Wave HG fine nippers for gate cutting. Now, over the past couple of years, there have been a different kind of nippers getting popular in the hobby community. The most famous example is, of course, God Hand. And this is a similar one, except it's made by Wave. The God Hand ones, they cost something like, the MSRP is 4,000 yen. The MSRP on these is 2,200 yen. Now, what makes this nice and oily? To prevent rust, I guess. Now, what makes these nippers special is they have one side that is, this side is extremely sharp, and this side does not actually have a cutting edge. So this is very, very thin. Look at how thin that is. And very, very sharp. So unlike the old style nippers, like those ones, they have a pretty sharp angle. They have a pretty, I guess, oblique angle is what you'd call it. And they both cut the plastic, but they also lift it up. So what you do is you end up tearing it and lifting it more than you end up cutting it. Now, because of how fine the cutting edge is, you have a limiting bolt on here, so that you know exactly when they come together and don't crush the sharp blade into the flat opposite side. So what I'm gonna do is get it just slightly above that, because I have gorilla hands and not always the most gentle with tools. Still, the most important part, how do these perform? First, let's just go with styrene. Oh, here goes nothing. That felt smooth. It did tear a little bit. Let's try another. It's not quite exactly like the usual promotional pictures for God Hand or other similar style nippers. I mean, it does cut pretty flat. Okay, for comparison, here's the good old Zuron cutters. You can see very oblique angle, very thick blades, and you can see they're tearing the plastic out. You can see the stress marks, and then it just flies away and leaves a ridge. Again, yep, just snaps away. Then, long ago, I just ended up grinding my own kind of nippers. Let's see how those work. They don't cut, they tear and leave a mountain. I hope all of this is in focus. If not, well, let's give it a few more tries. Let's do it like this. Now, first, let's take this piece. Okay, so here we have a fresh piece of styrene. This is from a Hasegawa kit. So, let's try this. Is that in focus yet? Center of the camera field. You can see it turning white and tearing. And again, immediate stress marks and snipping away. Homemade nippers, thin blades. Still a stress mark, and still leaves a bad edge. Yes, the homemade ones are kind of okay, except they leave a ridge. Now, let's try the wave. Let's see what happens. Much less stress marks. So I guess that's the limiting bolt in action. Prevents the blade from crushing into the opposite side. Just let's adjust it a little bit more. Now this one, I mean, there's still stress marks, but it seems, okay, focus. Seems it's definitely sharper. Definitely leaves a smoother cut. It's just much easier. I mean, it's still not like the promotional pictures where it's just absolutely flawless, unstressed styrene, but it feels nice. Now, they promote these as for cutting gates. That feels basically effortless. Now, let's do the actual gate cutting. That's not flush, but it didn't overstress the plastic. Let's try this one with the Xurons. That seems to stress it a little more and cut higher. I wonder if we can clean this up with a wave. Which one is the sharp one? Okay. It's actually skimming a little bit off the top. So this is interesting at the least. Oh yeah. Let's try. Are they strong enough to cut through resin? Probably yes. That felt rather effortless. They can get nice and close, where the Xurons can't, because I designed this mold kind of crappily. So far, quite happy with them. What warnings do we have? I mean, they have a blog post on their official blog about, oh yeah, cutting plastic up to 3 millimeters in diameter. In the blog post they say don't try to pry parts apart with these, don't try to use it as for getting stuff off, because these blades are very, very delicate, and they have actual photos of broken nippers on their website as an example of what you'll end up doing if you abuse these. But I mean, they feel nice. It might make snapping kits, ooh, this one is clean, might make snapping kits a bit more effortless. Wonder how thin you can do this. Oh, there we go. So that's how they do the promotional shots. Okay. Far away from the edge, stress marks, stressed plastic. Very, very close to the edge. All of the stressed plastic ends up being on the thin part, and the thick part does not get stressed. slightly stressed. So let's try about 1/2 millimeter pancake. There we go. That's how they do the promotional shots, I guess. When you basically just peel plastic off in tiny, tiny layers, putting all the stress on the part that's removed. I guess that works in case of gates, because gates usually don't leave a lot of material. So, initial thoughts on these: I like them. I'll use them a lot. Hopefully I won't break them. If I do, I'll probably make a video documenting how I broke them. Well, hopefully that was helpful. Okay, there's one more important thing to note. Now, these are not general purpose nippers. They are designed to do one thing that they advertise for cutting gates in very thin plastic, and they do that extremely well, but they have very specific warnings that it's up to 3 millimeters that they will cut. That's what they recommend. And also, they recommend to use these only for softer plastics. So right here they have polystyrene, that's the regular model kit injection material. Polyethylene, that's polycaps. ABS, that used to be a bit popular with Bandai kits, but not anymore. And polypropylene. Those are all very soft, very easy to cut plastics. Now they specifically tell you not to use these for polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is a very hard plastic. Also FRP, fiber reinforced polymers, fiberglass. That's also extremely hard. Acrylic, another much harder plastic. I have no idea why anybody would even try to cut acrylic with nippers, even with thicker ones, because acrylic just shatters. It doesn't really slice or cut. You have to score it and break it like glass most of the time, or just put it through a table saw. But yeah, also photo etch. This is not for photo etch. This is a very thin, very fine blade made for soft plastics, and does very well there.